Hi, this is Bill from yourpersonalcarshopper.com. Today we're just going to talk about what we do when we're looking at cars at the auction. The very first thing we want to look at is to see if there's anything major in the way of bodywork on the vehicle. So we look at every fender and every panel on the vehicle to make sure that there's nothing major. The next step is looking at the paint closely, and what we use is something called a paint meter. The paint meter is going to read the thickness of the paint on the vehicle, and we'll check every panel on the vehicle, including the roof, to make sure that there's no paintwork on the car. We want to look at the bumpers on the vehicle, both front and back, to make sure that there is no damage to it. The paint meter will not work on the plastic bumpers, so you have to inspect them very closely. Looking at glass very closely to make sure there's no chips or cracks. That can be a costly repair. Next thing with the paint is you want to look for PDRs, or paintless dent removal. This is where there's a small ding in the car, and there's a very fine one in this door that we'll have to remove. Scratches on the vehicle, and this door has a couple of fine scratches that we may be able to buff out. If not, then there'd have to be some paint work done on it. Another important place to look for damage is on the wheels, especially on the passenger side of the car where they're going to be next to the curbs. These are in good shape, all four of them are, and at the same time we'll look at tire tread as well to make sure that the tires are good and how much tread is left on the tire. Now we move into the car, and inside the first thing we want to check is any odors. Now we'll check for floor mats, front and back, and we found 4 of them in the back hatch, and all in very good condition.
The first place that the car goes when it comes in from the auction is right to the shop. As you can see, we're taking the wheels off of the car, we check the brakes, we check tire tread, the undercarriage of the vehicle to make sure that structurally the car is in great shape. This particular car, we found that the tires and the brakes were less than 50%, so we are changing the tires and brakes on this vehicle. The next step in the process, once the car is in the garage, is we're going to check all the hoses, belts, filters, wiper blades. Everything on the vehicle will be checked 100%. If anything needs to be serviced, it will be taken care of in the shop.
Now we want to get into the interior and make sure, first off, that all the door panels, all the leather, all the seating, everything is in good condition. No rips, no tears. Everything will be closely inspected to make sure that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the vehicle. We always look at the headliner to make sure that there are no stains up there. An important thing to check for, of course, is making sure that there's an owner's manual in the car, and also if there are 2 keys in the vehicle, because these are expensive things to replace. The next thing we do is start the vehicle, making sure that there's no odd sounds or any indications with any of the symbols in the dashboard. Then we confirm the mileage is what we expected it to be, and then we make sure the navigation is on and that it's operational, so we can move around and get to radio and everything else and make sure that that's working properly, which it is. And then we make sure the radio works, which it does, and then check all the temperature settings and fans to make sure that everything is perfectly operational. And then one of the last things would be to check the moonroof to make sure that that is opening properly. We also like to make sure that all the power windows are working perfectly and each one is going down perfectly. All 4 of them are working as they should. And then of course the power mirrors, we want to make sure that they're working as well, and that one is working, and the other one is working well too. At the auction we always like to make sure that we put the car into gear so that we're hearing any noises or anything in the transmission, if there's any odd sounds when we put it in drive or into park and reverse, and everything is fine with this. We want to look at the heated seats, and this car has cooled seats as well, so we want to make sure that the dials are working properly. and that the heated seats are actually working, and we'll sit there for a minute to make sure it is. And also the cool seats, which is a nice option to have. This is a Lexus RX350. We're checking to make sure that the power seats work, and they do. Everything is operational on this. It also has power lumbar. Both front seats are power on it. This vehicle has power telescopic and tilt, so we make sure that that is perfectly operation as well, and it works perfect. After the vehicle is totally serviced, the very last step before delivery is total cleaning and detailing of the vehicle. This is going to be washed, waxed, and then the interior will be cleaned with a leather treatment on the seats.